Welcome back to the Folio Media Studio here at the AI and Crypto for Real Estate Pros event. It is my honor to be here with one of Miami's premier pre-construction luxury market specialists, Guillermo Terán. Welcome, Guillermo.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to expose the little things that I've been doing in the pre-construction world. Like, you know, I think pre-construction, it started again about 4 years ago, and I think it's here to stay.
You know, you are a pioneer in guiding both real estate agents and clients to success in pre-construction, and it's a particular honor for me to interview here today because Guillermo has just published the first book on Miami pre-construction, which you can find now on Amazon. Tell me a little bit about why you thought it was important to publish this book.
Okay, so let me tell you first the story, because, I have over 30 years of experience. I'm a broker, and let's look at the lens of the law, the people, and the land. Let's look at the three things. So it all started, we were at a conference, right, and Surfside had collapsed, which is sad, but that made Florida analyze that we had to analyze how we're building, right? In fact, so I remember at that convention, the guy said, you know, there were all these new laws that came into place. There were 3 years. Actually, we had 3 years to come. We were supposed to comply at the beginning of this year, but they gave us an extra year. But basically, when he saw that and you see the opportunity, I saw all the opportunities that were, you know, all the hidden costs that were coming.
Yep.
All these, you know, assessments, structural problems. I saw this huge problem. I think they were calling it displacement. So then I figured, what's the next opportunity? I realized that pre-construction was going to become a huge opportunity because a lot of these buildings were not going to be able to, you know, they won't be able to pass. They were told will not be able to pass, and that would be an incentive for developers to actually knock it down and create something new.
Right, so investing in pre-construction today is riskier if you don't have the right strategy and the right agent.
Well, yeah, look, so when I got into the field, I realized there was not much information on pre-construction. There's a big difference between pre-construction of houses like Lennar, etc. Towers are completely different. It's a whole different world.
High-rise condominiums.
High-rise condominiums is completely different. They function different. They have a purpose. They're usually in top piece of land. They're not, you know. So I started meeting with developers, going to the sales centers, and I realized it's a different world, right? Common mistakes, for example, if there's buildings, there's residential buildings, there are condo-hotels, there are Airbnb, you know, there's a whole different buildings coming up. Now we got the brands, right? So first to understand and navigate the whole landscape. Then they for some reason, the world, they were telling us that it's very easy to sell pre-construction, and it's not. I'm not saying it's easy, it's just different. You need a different set of skills, you know, this idea that you're just gonna walk in, it doesn't work, that pre-construction projects take 4 to 5 minutes, you know, so it'll take, 4 or 5 years depending on the build. So, you know, it's a relationship, there's a whole of...
You have to trust the agent, the developer, the whole process that they'll get to closing.
I think as an agent, first of all, we had over 140 projects going up right now, and I think we still have more projects coming down because, look, remember we were talking about the law. So the law created, right? Then we talked about people. After COVID, we got jobs here. We have more than 160 companies move their headquarters over here. So now we got people that we still have. If you Google, I'm like at 1,000 people a day still moving to the state of Florida. So now you got people coming in here, land, right? And then let's talk about the land. There's no more land. Miami's built out. So I think I say New York, I will say Manhattan in 1960. So if you could see and buy into the opportunity to buy any real estate, because it's only going up. I mean, everybody's been waiting on the sideline. It's going to go down. It's a bubble, etc.
Well, I mean, one of your key insights is that Miami being like Manhattan in the 1960s, it's like we already saw the future.
Look, we also saw the future. I'm going to throw one out there for you. Okay, so you know, have you heard about the halo effect?
No.
All right, so when they built Central Park, everything around Central Park, New York went up 30%. We're getting the Miami Central Park. Under the Signature Ridge, we're going to have 37 acres. That's going to be the Miami Central Park. Common sense tells us everything around there is going to go up 30%. It's another tip. You know, So that's another halo effect. Remember the Meat District in New York that was down, and they so we're seeing the halo effects. We're seeing how Miami's changing in front of our eyes. So I realized to add value to my clients, I first needed to understand the process. I also needed to understand how to try to, you look, all builders are going to have problems. I mean, the timing they give you is an estimate of timing. They all take longer. So you need to understand to navigate the phases, right? I also realized that you can negotiate. You think you can negotiate some pre-construction. Now it depends because, you have, you buy, there's reservation, there's contract, there's groundbreaking, top off, and delivery. Usually you buy, the first price is the best price to buy because, you're buying, they don't even know how much things can cost or have an idea, or you buy toward the end. But then I also realized that you could also negotiate while they're changing, in what state. If they're maybe going from reservation to contract and they need one more unit to be sold, you are getting, and also you need to understand what developers, like they might not touch the price, but you could get an HOA free. I mean, there's a lot of things
to negotiate there, yeah.
So as an agent, I had to realize, how does it work, right? How does developers think? Will the thing get built? And I think they all will get built because they also have to get a construction loan. And I kept seeing, for example, there was a lot of agents they didn't know what we were doing, the wrong questions, because you walk in there and you're buying and rendering, right?
Right.
And common mistake is we have these buildings that are Airbnb, but you could live on them. But the reality, any building that has an Airbnb component is an investment building, and they're going to make the unit as small as possible. So you pay LSOH and numbers make sense. You go to a residential part, we want to create community. We're going to be rentals, short-term rentals. We want to create a community with safety, right? But you also want bigger spaces.
Right.
So you can pay a bigger HOA. But then you say, I don't mind paying the bigger HOA because I live there.
Right.
So Airbnb, and then you had condo-hotels. So people actually, that like the condo-hotel lifestyle. We also saw there's a whole new digital nomads, a whole brand of let's say people or category of people that think differently, that might want to be 3 months here, 3 months over there. So we're adapting, and also we're seeing the Airbnb product adapt to the necessities. Remember like Uber came into the market, and you couldn't go to this, but they're here to stay. So now the new buildings have 2 different entrances. They control how people come in. So developers have made a great effort to accommodate the Airbnb model, right? So first of all, understanding your client's needs, right? Mm-hmm. And make sure you take them to the right product. Understanding how fast they want, because depending on the stage, you're going to be able to get, right?
Yeah.
Some people want to get appreciation. That game that you buy pre-construction and sell toward the end, it still works, but you want to hold that unit for a little bit.
Yep.
So getting an agent to understand the pre-construction world, because I say you need a set of different skills. So in this book, I wanted to, after 3.5 years of all these meetings, all this information and visiting and seeing the mistakes people were making, I figured I'm going to come up. So this book, who's this book for? It's for the end reader that wants to know what's happening in Miami. I mean, for people who live in Miami, they don't understand what's happening. All they know, they see cranes going up,
right?
And they don't understand.
Yeah, their city's evolving, and we don't know why.
And they don't know why. It's getting too expensive, which is not really getting too expensive. If you understand it, then we're seeing our population change, right? So I made it for the end user, but I also made it for realtors that want to get into the pre-construction, because when I look for material, there's not many material out there. So
this is a 3-year labor of love. The book is Miami's Pre-Construction Blueprint. We're here with the author and luxury pre-construction agent, Guillermo Terán. You can buy it on Amazon, Insider Strategies from a top real estate advisor. This is a very, very proud achievement. Guillermo, congratulations on doing this, and thank you for your contribution to the whole industry.
Thank you for the time, and I like to add value to everything I do, so this is my way of adding value to people in pre-construction, and I'm open to anybody, realtor, anybody who wants to have a conversation. I'm the kind of guy that I'm open, to share. I like to talk. I'm passionate about what I do, and if I could share and if I could help anybody out, feel free to contact me.
Well, this is the ultimate example of how even in an age of AI and crypto, you still need these passionate, knowledgeable, local agents that really can guide a client from start to finish. So reach out to Guillermo, get your copy, Miami's Pre-Construction Blueprint, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.